Dun 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 Zoids dun 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 Zoids dun 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 Zoids down now now. God, I'm so old. If you don't know, this is a Zoid, and I think Zoids are really awesome. Zoids, Digimon Tamers, and Beyblades were some of the first shows that aired in Toonami here in the Philippines. Let me tell you, Zoids is still one of my favorite anime of all time. I've actually finished the series 3 times already. It's just such a great show with amazing world building. The sequel Zoids New Century was also pretty great. Not as strong as the first series, but it's still well remembered, since it was more child friendly and leaned closer to the Pokemon vibes compared to the darker, grittier Zoids Chaotic Century. Zoids definitely has a loyal fandom, but it started to lose steam with the third series, Zoids Fusors. I personally recommend watching the Japanese version since the US release was cancelled early, and the Japanese version has more added scenes that make the story flow better. Sadly, once the licensing expired, Zoids no longer had the same big following. Later series like Zoids Genesis, which I actually consider the darkest Zoids series to this day, and the newer Zoids Wild and Zoids Wild Zero had their own issues. In fact, Wild and Wild Zero had one of the biggest problems that really held the franchise back. First of all, Zoids Wild had a huge redesign. It clearly tried to appeal to a younger generation, but it failed miserably since it gave older fans the wrong impression. Later, they tried to retarget a more mature audience, which honestly looked great, but then it felt like it was already too late. Zoids was kind of fading away. That said, thanks to their collaboration with Kotobukiya, we still got tons of 172 model kits, and surprisingly, that helped keep the fandom alive. New people discovered Zoids for the first time through the kits, and the community expanded a bit. But here's the biggest crime. They never officially licensed the anime with an English sub or dub anywhere, so you cannot find this any streaming services. Yes, there's an old Hasbro dub, but even that got delisted, so if you want to watch it, you have to dig around yourself. Obviously, that makes it way less appealing to a wider audience. Now, maybe it's just me, but I feel like Takara often underestimates their own toy lines. I've always thought Takara struggles with marketing compared to the juggernauts like Bandai. And I get it, it's even harder in today's digital era, where trends change so fast, but if they really want to succeed, they need to put more effort to connect with fans. For starters, they should officially license the anime, or at least upload it in YouTube for free with subtitles. The show's already aired, there's no reason to keep it locked away. That also includes some of their IPs. And honestly, I'd say the same thing for Gundam too. Can someone please put Gundam 00 on Netflix, please? People need to know there are other great Gundam series besides, I don't know, Iron-Blooded Orphans? But hey, I'm just a fan talking too much on the internet. I'm not sitting in their board meetings, so I don't know how things really work inside their company. Thankfully, Takara is starting to cook again. Out of nowhere, they announced this new 1/100 scale Zoids line. Just imagine Zoids, but in a format that feels like a high-grade Gundam kit. That's basically what it is. It's made by Realize Model. I'm not super familiar with them, but if this is their first kit release, then alright, I dig it. I really like what I saw. Finally, we're getting Zoids at a price that is actually affordable compared to Kotobukiya. And honestly, the size feels just right in my hands. No disrespect to Kotobukiya, they absolutely kept Zoids alive when nobody else was. But their kits are just way too expensive, and my experience with them just sums up perfectly with this fellow YouTuber right here. It was definitely a nightmare to build. I have my Kotobukiya Blade Liger in my shelves, and I don't plan on showing you that, guys. Trust me, you don't want to see that. So yeah, I had to get this one, and of course it had to be Blade Liger. The Blade Liger is one of the most beloved Zoids of all time, right after Liger Zero. But here's the best part. I picked this one up for around $35, might be a little different depending on your country. But for a Blade Liger kit at that price, absolutely no brainer. So finally, here it is. Observing the parts, yeah, you can definitely see they cut some corners just to lower the price. And honestly, that's fine. Because this really does feel like a high grade version of Zoids. But let's see how the end result turns out. While we are in the building montage, I'd like to say something about the build. The build was fairly easy, but I did run into some fitting issue. While building, I noticed two key issues. Some parts required a surprising amount of force to snap together. If you are used to the smooth, effortless build of Gunpla, this will feel different. You'll really need to push with a bit of strength for a certain connection. If a part doesn't seem to fit, it usually means you didn't align something early on. You might need to go back, tweak, or rearrange a piece to make sure it's properly placed. So yeah, it's a different build experience compared to Gunpla, but overall, it's still a very simple build, nothing overwhelming. It just takes a couple of hours to finish. That's it. So yeah, I really hope this line succeed because I do notice not a lot of people are buying this. Probably not a lot of people are interested in Zoids today, especially the new generation. But guys, I really hope this sells well. I would love to see model kit version of Liger Zero Phoenix and Liger Zero Falcon. Say what you will about Fusors, but that series had some awesome designs. And Genesis too. Like bro, it had a motorcycle dog and a dog with sword. That is peak Zoids right there. But even with those few setbacks, I freaking love how this looks. Oh my god. This is way more anime accurate than the Kotobukiya version. If you love the anime, then this is the one you need to get. Yes, they did cut some corners, and no, it doesn't have that insane mechanics Kotobukiya pulls off. And the articulation is pretty limited, so I get why it won't be everyone's cup of tea. But for me, I still freaking love this. It's affordable, it hits the nostalgia bias hard, and it honestly reminds me of buying those old motorized Zoids kits when I was a kid. They did remake those recently, but I like the Zoids articulated. No offense to the motorized kits. They're still freaking awesome. I get it, Chaotic Century and New Century are the ones most people remember and the ones that sell more, but I really hope Takara goes all in and makes a bunch of these in the future. Zoids isn't super popular right now, with the lack of recent shows and older series being pretty hard to find. But if you've never experienced Zoids, I highly recommend giving it a chance. Watch the first two series, Chaotic Century if you're into story-driven anime, and New Century if you're into battle-style shows. Both are different, but both are equally great. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to give Zoids some spotlight, because who knows what the future holds for this franchise. I just want to share that I was there during its glory days, and Zoids will always be an important part of my childhood. Even if this line doesn't succeed, I'll eventually move on. But for now, I'm just glad it's here, and I'm glad I got to experience it.
Yeah, boy.